after the best part of nearly 60 years, the Nurburgring had to undergo some changes in the 1980s. The track, considered to be too dangerous for Formula One around the infamous Green Hell, had to be cut down and shaven, but still characterising all that what makes this wonderful circuit. And in 1984, on the 12th of May, a little known driver by the name of Ayrton Senna decided to beat a whole host of other well-known Formula One drivers in Mercedes saloon cars. That was 37 years ago, and tonight the Nürburgring GP plays host to round 1 of season 5, a Renault Mégane trophy sponsored by PowerMax Racing, hosted here with NXTGEN. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator for Lobby 1 for the first time, taking over from CJW Racing, and I've got to say it's a pleasure and a privilege to be commentating on this wonderful lobby. A fantastic competitive championship awaits us over the following 10 rounds. I'm fairly certain it's going to be absolutely brilliant, and tonight here we are for the first time. Drivers out on circuit at the moment doing their practice laps. Currently we're just following Matty Rudd in the newly liveried Zerkotech racing car, the number 28 there. He'll be one to watch out for this season. Matty Rudd had a number of good results over the years in this league. He's relatively almost like a veteran at this point, is Matty Rudd, but 3 podiums last season, so interesting to see how he gets on through this 10-round championship. Just to give you a quick rundown of the races that are going to be going on over the next 11 weeks. Obviously we have a 1-week break in the middle of the championship. Nürburgring kicks us off tonight, which you can see at the moment going around the circuit. Brands Hatch GP is next week, round 2. Monza, round 3. Laguna Seca will be round 4. Autopolis International will be round 5. We have a break week at NXTGEN, so no racing on that day. Willow Springs, round 6. Suzuka East, round 7. Blue Moon Infield A, round 8. Fuji GP is round 9. And Red Bull Ring will be round 10. That will be the race calendar for the next 11 weeks. A couple of comments just coming through in the Twitch chat. Just a couple of people saying hello to all of you. P. Gibb, Ruddo, Hirakram, as I've commented. Good to see you in the comments. It's going to be a very fascinating season. Last season in Lobby 1 went right down to the wire at the final round of Red Bull Ring, and we saw NXTGEN Hirakram crowned champion once again. Hirakram, by far and away the most successful driver in this championship. He's won countless times, a number of championships already. I believe 4 championship crowns he has, and it's something that he's going to have to deal with the pressure again once more this season. He was very well pushed from Ruddo last season. He's in the pit of Ruddo at the moment, but the dominance of those two last season cannot be underestimated. 20 races last season we had in the Méganes, and between Hirakram and Ruddo they won 18 of them, 18 out of 20, so 95% of the races, which is absolutely incredible. 90% I should say. So it's going to be down to the other drivers to step up in this lobby to try and make sure that Hirakram and Ruddo aren't pulling away in the early stages. And it's good to see a number of drivers that have joined in Lobby 1. Let's go through the practice list so far. Duskiver is there tonight. He's been promoted from Lobby 2 to Lobby 1. He was the informed driver in Lobby 2 towards the second half of last season. He was outscoring all of the drivers, and he ended up 4th in the championship. Had he not had, has a bit of a twitch going through turn 3 of the Mercedes arena. But Duskiver, very quick driver from last season. Whether he can carry on that form, we'll soon see. He's only 1.1 off the back of Hirakram's practice pace so far. We've covered Matty Rudd in the Zerkotech car. He is the champion of Lobby 2 from last season, for those that are unaware who are joining us for tonight's races. What normally happens in the Mégane Trophy, we run 2 lobbies, and the champion always gets promoted into Lobby 1. So there is DMK Dominator 3, his first full season last season in Lobby 2. He just about took the trophy in the end. He well deserved it. And there he is in a new livery in the Miltech Sport backed car there, coming into turn 1. So he's out getting a bit of practice in, and he's broken into the 59s, which he'll be very pleased about. Bruce Lee Harding, good to see Bruce Lee back in again. There's a Kappa livery for the time being. And Bruce Lee, certainly no slouch in this league. He's been part of Lobby 1 since dawn inept, realistically, and he has got a couple of wins under his belt in that time. It's been a little bit of time since he last had a race victory. I believe it was in Season 3 of the Méganes at Suzuka. So this will be a chance for him to set the record straight. But a couple of podiums last season for him. In that respect, I believe he had 5 podiums last season, did Bruce. So going to be fascinating to see how he gets on. There's P. Gibb, the perennial favourite of this league. He's always come close to potentially winning races. He's never quite made that step up, as far as I'm aware, going back through the past data. So P. Gibb, he'll be hoping to get a victory or maybe another couple of podiums under his belt this season. There's Martin JL09 in the 10 Tools car. He's coming out of the pits there. Not had a podium since he was champion of Lobby 2. He's made the step up a number of seasons back into Lobby 1. Not had a podium so far, but he's certainly capable. He's got the ability and talent to do so. The number 4 car there. Let's see how he gets on. Ruddo, we mentioned him earlier, 8 wins last season. He's going to be scrapping as hard as he can to get that championship, to try and dethrone Hirakram, but it's going to be tough. See how he gets on. KZ2 Haas also making the step up from Lobby 2 from last season. KZ2 Haas, a quick driver, had a couple of wins last season. Unlucky not to win the championship in the end. He was the latecomer, realistically. He just appeared out of nowhere, did Haas. But he's in the Adrian Flux car. So currently 9 cars in the lobby at the moment. We are expecting a few more, so hopefully we'll get the chance to see how the rest of the field forms up. I know a couple of drivers having a few issues ahead of tonight. Let's see how we get on. In terms of the car, the Mégane, it's had a new livery change. For those that are keen-eyed, you could see a little bit of a sort of new styled livery going on. You can see the yellow of the Power Max car. That's a bit better there. You can see the sort of accented colour down the side. Really nice addition. Got to give a good mention to JPH99, who usually races in Lobby 1, and the Mégane series creator, so to speak. He redesigned the liveries for this season. They look absolutely fantastic. And he will be back racing in a few rounds' time. He's going to miss the opening 3 events, but it'd be good to have Jordan, as he's known, back in. So it'd be fascinating to see how they get on. So a couple of minutes before we go into qualifying around this Nurburgring track, as Ruddo, I believe, just getting out of the way for another driver there. As Martin goes on to his first flying lap within practice. It'll be interesting to see how the drivers get on around Nurburgring. It's the first time we've been here since Season 3. And back then it was Hirakram who took the race win. It was a one race per round series back in Season 3. It was only last season it went into 2 races. But Hirakram took that race win on the day. Hill Climb Racer was second, and KB_E36 took the podium right at the line from Ruddo 24 on that day. That was the open round of the season in Season 3. So Hirakram certainly has form around here. He's put in some videos for the drivers as well to give them some hints and tricks and tips around this track, which will certainly come in handy. And that'll be a sight, no doubt, we'll be seeing this season. Hirakram and Ruddo running within the same frame on circuit. That'll be very good to see. McCheesy saying commentary. Yeah, commentating on the Mégane series. Wonderful championship it is. I've been a part of it since its inception. Gibb just putting a comment there, just saying 1 minute to quali start. 10-minute qualifying, of course, which will be fascinating. This Mégane, no change really since its inception. Still 360 horsepower and the weight just underneath a ton. Racing soft tyres for the drivers to deal with. The only new settings change is the grid start. It's got a false start check now, so that'll be beneficial to make sure the drivers aren't jumping the starts. Not that they normally do, but it's always good to make sure that that's in place. There's Ruddo just doing the best he can. And there we go, into qualifying then. So, just 9 drivers in for the first round. Just wait for the lobby to get itself sorted. There's the settings change. So, 10 minutes of qualifying. Old school qualifying from P. Gibb. Relatively big McCheesy. Sponsored by Power Maxed Racing, the team that are in the British Touring Car Championship, so pretty big. So let's see how the drivers get on. Just see the opening couple of corners. Ruddo first out in that Geisen back car. That's Matty Rudd, Bruce Lee. Hirakram fourth out in the Joyce design car. Not running the number 1 is Hirakram, elected to choose the number 37. Past few seasons he has been the champion, but not once during that time has he run the number 1 car. That's his choice, absolutely down to him. There's Gibb now just coming out in the steel seal car. Dominator free. There's Haas as well. I do like the newly liveried Adrian Flux of the blue and white. It's quite a nice touch. Used to be blue and black, but white now instead. Martin JL09 and Duskiver as well, also in the ITG blue and white car that he's got there as well. So 10 minutes of qualifying. Obviously all the drivers now out on their outlap, and we'll have Ruddo to begin with. We'll watch his lap as he comes around turns 11, 12. Chucks the car through turn 12, completely flat in this Mégane. Should be very straightforward. He chucks it through the chicane. And we'll ride with Ruddo. He'll be the first driver to ride on board with this season. Let's get on board with him. We have all the instruments available so we can all see the throttle application as he comes around that final corner. Just a little bit wary of the throttle pedal there. Just keeping an eye on that. Ruddo not completely flat according to the graphic. As you come towards turn 1 for the first time, now he's just a little bit odd with the throttle cable. Down on the brakes into 3rd gear. Ruddo chooses into 2nd for turn 1. Keeps the car nice and neat and on the throttle early. Then coming into turn 2. 3rd gear, pretty straightforward. Got to balance the throttle before opening it up completely. And on the AstroTurf, then down again on the brakes into 2nd gear. Get the car tucked in. And then up into 3rd. Should be pretty easy to come out of the Mercedes arena. And it is. Although we've got a bit of lag going on there. So hopefully that clears up shortly. Up into 5th gear, no doubt, for Ruddo as he comes in towards turn 5. 4th gear, and then down on the brakes again into 3rd for the forward curve. 3rd gear, very nice and neat so far from Ruddo, to be expected, the 8-time race winner last season. Flicks the car through this minute turn left effectively, and then on the brakes down into 2nd gear for Dunlop at the hairpin. Has a later apex for Ruddo instead of the earlier one, and then up towards the Schumacher S. Will he have a lift going into the corner? Looks like he's completely pinned going through the Schumacher S. So nicely done so far. Approaching turn 10. Should be braking just by that 100-metre marker. Down on the brakes into 3rd gear. Nicely done. Clipped the curb really well. And then through turn 11. Keeps the car in 3rd gear. Matty Rudd just following in behind as well. So he's getting a good example of how to take this track as neat as possible. Flat through turn 12 as he approaches now the NGK chicane. Up into 6th gear will he go? Decides not to. Down on the brakes then into 3rd gear. Chucks it over the 1st curb. Over the 2nd. Nicely done. Then down into the final corner. Turn 15. And runs it over the AstroTurf. So that's a complete lap of the Nurburgring GP. What's Ruddo's lap times? A 58.2. Good start from him. Matty Rudd does a 59.1. Hirakram, the champion from last season. What's his last time? Straight up into P1. It's a 58 flat from the defending champion. P. Gibb next on circuit. Looks like he's been caught by Bruce Lee. So let's look at the lap times. P. Gibb comes across the line. He does a 59 flat. Bruce Lee, 2:08. So a little mistake there from Bruce Lee. Dominator up to 5th. Haas has also set a lap time. Martin, JL09, goes up into 5th place. And the last car to set a lap time will be Duskiver. He does a 59.8. A good lap time from him. So Dominator, we know there's more speed to come from the Miltech car. He's gone into the 59s during practice. There's Haas as well with a 2:minute 1.1. And there's Bruce Lee in 9th place on a 2:minute 8. So he certainly made a mistake somewhere out on circuit. But Hirakram draws first blood. McCheesy saying he's a P. Gibb fan, likes the name. There you go, Hirakram leading the way. 5 minutes gone already in this qualifying session. Hirakram going even faster on this lap. Let's watch Ruddo as he comes towards turn 10. Flicks the car through in third gear. A little bit tighter this time. This will help his line coming out of turn 11. See what lap time he's doing. He's a little bit slower actually. Is Ruddo 24, and you can tell by the gap between himself and Matty Rudd has certainly come down. Hirokram's already gone through that timing check, so we won't be able to see his lap time. Martin out on track at the moment. There's Dominator. See how Dominator's getting on relative to his previous lap. 7 tenths quicker, so looking to be on for the 1 minute 59s. So be a very good lap time for him. See what Ruddo has done. He hasn't improved, nor has Matty Rudd. So what about Hirokram? This is looking like a better lap, and it's a 1:57.4. He's 7 tenths. Best part of 8 tenths ahead of Ruddo. Great lap time from him. What about P. Gibb in the Steel Seal yellow 92 car? Improves by less than a tenth, but still an improvement. He'll be positively happy with that. Martin JL09 coming out of the final corner. What about his lap time? Does he make an improvement? He doesn't. He stays in 5th place. Skyver, he is there just in 6th place at the moment, 59.8. No improvement on that lap prior to this one. J-Eno's just made a comment to say they started without me, tough times. You will be able to get in though, Jane. That's a point actually, J-Eno. I know you've been part of this championship for quite a while. Is it J-Eno or J-Eno? Because there are 2 ways of saying that. Hirokram is very quick around here. I do remember him in the Scirocco series that we ran about 2 seasons ago, and he's very fast around there. So there we are. Skyver just getting a bit of screen time at the moment. Just looking at the drivers. So a few drivers out or not in for tonight's race. So we've got Alan 1, D Hartley. He's not here. Burnt Fry, I know he's having some issues. JPH won't be in until round 4, I mentioned earlier, as Skyver goes a little bit quicker. Timmy DJG as well. So it's about 4, maybe 4 or 5 drivers who are missing out. Jainho, okay, Portuguese, yeah, taking it that way. Nicely done. I'll know that for the future. So Jainho, or Jainho? Jainho? I'm going to say Jainho. Jainho. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will. So, no changes so far. Hirokram going slower on that one. Any chance you could send me the lobby ID after quali? I can do, if I know how to find it. That's the issue I have. Let's see if we can find it actually. So, there's the room ID. So if you want to take that down, actually, I tell you what, I've got a very good idea there. If I do this, I'll just move over. I've taken a picture, and I'll send it over to you. I'll put it in the group chat for the Méganes. There you go. So that's it. That's straightforward. Looks like someone else had the same idea as well. So, P. Gibb getting a couple of comments and support from McCheesy. No worries, Jaino. Jaino, rather, I should say. Hopefully it does. But Gibb has pulled over. There we get on. Hirokram, though, still leading away. He's got 7 tenths, the best part of 8 tenths. That Joyce Design car looking resplendent at the moment. Ruddo just running in 2nd place. He's going quicker on this lap. At the moment, he's about 1.5 tenths better than his lap 2 quali run that he did. He chucks it over the curbs. Oh, all over the shop as he goes through the NGK chicane. Jainho's having some issues. Might not be able to get in. What about Ruddo then? Can he get himself across the line? He does. He gets a 1:58 flat from Ruddo. Brings him within half a second of Hirokram in front. Gibbs already obviously over to the side of the circuit. Bruce Lee Harden, he'll be next to come across the line. Might be worth doing a restart, Jainho, whether that works out for you. What about Bruce Lee then? Can he make an improvement on this lap? He does. He moves himself up to 4th. That's a good effort from Bruce. Duskiver, he's coming around the final corner. KZ2 Haas, he's in 8th. Doesn't improve though. Dominator, can he make any improvement? He doesn't. No, he does actually, a 159.8. So gets himself where he needs to. Martin doesn't improve. He made a mistake on that last lap. So that is it. As Dominator does a slide going into turn 1. But Matty Rudd ended up 9th on the grid. So Hirakram, your pole sitter for the first round of the season. Yeah, Deepest Angels putting a comment in and say, hooray for Hirakram, off to a good start. He is indeed. Dominator just trying to show that he's not, Hirakram isn't the only champion in this lobby, of course. Dominator, Lobby 2 champion from Season 4. But 4 champions in this lobby tonight, just to make a note of that as well. Mark JL09 and DMK Dominator 3. Gibb qualified in 4th place, so good effort from him. Will be fascinating to see how the drivers get on for the first round of the season. Hopefully Jainho can get in for round 2 at least. Hirakram deciding to take up all of our commentating broadcast. Someone's still going around the circuit. I think it's Ruddo actually. So he did get there just before time, but he's got a penalty, and that will be that for the Geisen driver. He'll come across the line anyway and complete his lap time, but that is it from him. So Hirakram, the man on pole position, some celebratory donuts from the gents. Yes, P. Gibb, it's Jainho's having a few issues, not sure why. Said he can't see the room ID. Apparently his mobile Wi-Fi is not letting him enter the room. Martin deciding to park right in front of Ruddo there. And it's just Matty Rudd who stopped on circuit. So P. Gibbs just going around. Gibbs put a comment there just to say 1 minute to see if Jay can join. Gibb, if you could do us a favour, just drive around for us. Whilst the drivers get themselves all sorted, hopefully we can get Jainho in. If not, then maybe we'll be able to get him sorted for the second race in any case. So there's everyone just waiting for the session to start. There's Hirakram just getting himself all sorted. Gives Bruce Lee a little love tap. Will be important to try and distinguish the difference as well between Duskiver and KZ2 Haas, because they're both running white and blue liveries with different sponsors. So gonna have to try and make sure you keep an eye out on that one. Sure you don't get too confused. Martin deciding donuts time. Gibbs just running around. So will be fascinating to see. Hirakram obviously the last two events before now, when he's run around the Nurburgring, he's won both times. And Jainho has form around here. He's finished second here in the second season we ran in the Mégane Trophy, so he's certainly capable of getting a good result. Maybe he'll get in for race 2. Be interesting to see if he can put some cats among the pigeons. And Gibb is starting, which is great news. So there we go, the final has begun, and we can get ourselves ready and prepared for the season. McCheesy just asking the points, how they work. I'll go through them during the race. But Hirakram has picked up the first point that you can get for pole position. So here we go then for the race. It's Hirakram on pole on the right hand side in that green and white Joyce design car. On the left hand side it's Ruddo 24 in the red and black Geisen car. Watch out for Matty Rudd and P. Gibb on the second row. Will be interesting to see how the drivers get on. 20 minutes on the right hand side, and for the first time this season in the Lobby 1, here come the numbers. And the race is live here from the Nurburgring. It looks like a relatively good start from NXTGEN Hirakram. He cuts across Ruddo straight away and he blocks that inside line as they approach turn 1 for the first time. There's Ruddo right up the inside of Matty Rudd. Gibb trying to look at a move around the outside. if he can, possibly going through the Mercedes arena at turn 2. Gibb trying to go right the way around the outside in that 92 yellow steel seal car, and has he pulled the move off? Matty Rudd still there on the inside, and Matty Rudd just about holds on to position. So good clean racing from the start. Bruce Lee looking to try and make a move in 5th place. Duskiver's 6th, Dominator 7th, Haas is 8th. Martin not had the best of starts, he's dropped to 9th from the opening couple of corners. Not sure what happened to him, but it's Heracram who leads the way. Ruddo is 2nd. There's Matty Rudd in 3rd position. We're going to back out, come back straight in so we can get our indicators up, and there you go, you can see them. Gibb currently in 4th place on this opening lap. Look at Bruce Lee trying to have a look at a move up the inside. No doing. Oh, he goes a little bit on the curb. He just about gets away with that. Luckily, Duskiver's a little bit further behind him coming out of Dunlop hairpin. He's actually got to deal with Dominator all over the back of him as they come towards this next corner, turn 10. On the brakes, he looks towards the inside. Duskiver giving him all the room in the world. Dominator moves then up into 6th position. That's going to allow Martin a chance. He's got back past Haas. So making his way through the field. Dominator's on the gravel. Duskiver had a penalty. So here comes Martin JL09 up the inside at turn 12. A little bit clumsy from Duskiver. Probably trying to snatch that slipstream as quick as he can, but didn't happen. So he tries to clear that, and Duskiver has been overtaken by the Adrian Flux car of KZ2 Haas, who just ghosted straight through him. So an alternative way of overtaking cars, and that's what KZ2 Haas has done. So Dominator leads the way of the cars that came through from Lobby 2 last season. Bruce Lee just on the back at the moment of P. Gibb in 5th position. Looks like Dominator trying to clear a penalty, and Martin JL09, if we can get the camera to select him as he was a little bit awkward coming out of turn 1, keeps Dominator behind despite the mistake, and he's in 6th position. So a bit of work to do for Martin now if he wants to try and latch himself onto the back of 5th place, which is Bruce Lee, 2.7 behind as it stands. Yeah, the new penalty rule that's been updated for this season, for those that don't know, you cannot overtake another car whilst you are running with a penalty. So drivers have got to remember that, as Matty Rudd being pressured unbelievably so in the early stages by P. Gibb. And look at the front two of Ruddo and Heracram already pulling away in these opening stages. Those two, the class of the field last season, and they're doing it again. Look at Bruce Lee trying to look for a little opportunity around the outside. He's going to be on the outside for the Schumacher S. Bruce Lee, though, sensible about it. Little tap of the brakes, slots back in behind the yellow and black, almost bumblebee-like livery for P. Gibb. It's easy just saying, is it like F1's points? Not quite. I'll tell you about it shortly. Just watching P. Gibb going a little bit over the AstroTurf. Martin's just pulling away from Dominator. He's got a 10th of a penalty, but he should be able to clear that with no issues. There's Haas and Duskiver. Oh, Duskiver running onto the gravel trap at turn 11. He was close to going off, but Haas very slow out of the corner, and Duskiver, the two white and blue teammates, so to speak, have just passed one another. So Duskiver back up into 8th position. There's Bruce Lee Harden trying to go around the outside of P. Gibb, but P. Gibb holds that position. Bruce Lee trying to do the switchback really well out of the final corner at turn 15. It's going to be on the inside. Can he get the run he needs and brake later than P. Gibb into turn 1? We'll soon find out. Up into potentially 6th gear it should be. No, the driver's elected not to. P. Gibb brakes later on the outside. Bruce Lee dives up the inside though, and that is signed, sealed and delivered for the number 69 car. But Heracram leading the way, and he's actually starting to gap Ruddo 24 at the moment. He's got 1.4 worth of penalties. He's going to have to try and deal with them during the race if he can. But Heracram currently at the moment on his way for some big points to start off the season with. So for those that are unaware, the driver's points are as follows. First place for Heracram at the moment, he would score 21 points. Ruddo takes 18 at this present moment. Matty Rudd would be 15 points, and then it drops back. Bruce Lee would have 13, P. Gibb would have 12, Martin JL09 would have 11, DMK Dominator 3 would have 10, Haas would take 9 points, although he's really swapping places with Duskiver who would have 8 points, and then subsequently it's 1 point for every position after, right the way down to 16th place. 16th place would score 1 point. So there's a point for everyone, no matter where you finish in this lobby. But Hirakram looking imperious already. He's already pulling away from Ruddo. He's in the 57s. And it's going to be very difficult for the other drivers to try and keep up. Well, in that respect, McCheesy just put in a comment there saying, can I just chill and get points? You can do, in that case, but what lobby you'd end up being in is up for debate. If you've got Gran Turismo Sport, you could be in lobby 1, which is the rapid drivers, or lobby 2. But Ruddo currently in second place. Matty Rudd being closed in now by Bruce Lee and P. Gibb. Those two have elected just to follow each other for the time being and get themselves onto the back of Matty Rudd. He did have about a second and a half advantage to Bruce Lee and P. Gibb before, did Matty Rudd, but that's been closed right down. And Matty Rudd hoping for a first podium since last season at Laguna Seca. Not so long ago. He's going a tenth quicker on this lap so far. Martin was catching these drivers ahead. He was only 2 seconds behind, but he's lost 8 tenths in this lap alone. So Martin be one to watch for the reverse grid race coming up shortly. Still 13 minutes to go, of course, so a lot of time for the drivers to still shake things out. There's a couple of battles going on circuit. Dominator still just in front of Haas and Duskiver. Oh, Duskiver very late on the brakes going into the Dunlop hairpin. Actually did work out well for him though. He's actually really pulled it a nice amount of time on Haas. A little hesitation going through the Schumacher S has just sort of neutralised any advantage that he would have had. Hirakram now 2.5 clear of Ruddo. The champion is doing what the champion does. Ruddo's still got a little bit of lag. I'm hoping that he doesn't have any issues during the race. Hopefully he doesn't have any problems, but who knows. Matty Rudd still in third. Actually managed to pull a little bit of distance throughout the rest of this lap between himself and Bruce Lee Harding. Matty Rudd not won a race in lobby 1, nor has Pete Gibb for that matter. Bruce Lee Harding, he has won races in lobby 1. I believe he's won 2. So he's certainly capable, is Bruce Lee, of winning championship races. But at the moment, running around in 4th position. Let's see how he goes. Gibb just running in 5th place. Martin, he's happily in 6th. A little bit of a lonely race for him so far, but he's managed to gain back the time that he lost. So with 11 minutes and 20 still remaining in this race, Martin certainly isn't out of the running just yet. He's in the 59s, which is a little bit quicker than what Pete Gibb is doing currently. He's right with Bruce Lee and Matty Rudd in terms of the lap time. So Martin still has a chance. Dominator's pulled away quite immensely from KZ2 Haas and Duskiver. So the drivers who joined from lobby 2 last season, a little bit distanced to the cars away from them, but this is what normally happens in this championship in the Méganes. The opening few races, the guys who've been promoted from lobby 2 to lobby 1, they have a little bit of time adjusting to the ferocity of lobby 1, and then you see drivers making that step forward. Timmy DJG 94 being a prime example, made that step up from lobby 2 to lobby 1 when he finished 2nd in the championship, and then has since won races, so it's certainly doable. The Dominator will be happy to run around in 7th place on his debut in lobby 1. Hirakram though still edging away from the rest of the pack. Ruddo just in 2nd place. very early stages in this championship. Nobody will be thinking about championship order. They'll be all going out for the best result possible. There's Matty Rudd, Bruce Lee Harding. A play on words, of course, for those that are aware, obviously, for Bruce Lee, the former martial artist and actor, for that matter, as he goes sideways out of turn 3, coming out of the Mercedes arena. Still being tracked closely by Pete Gibb, and this gap is fluctuating between Martin and Pete Gibb. One lap he's closing the gap, the next lap he's losing time. It's a little bit awkward for him, for Martin. Had he have not had the start that he got, he probably would have been in the mix of that fight for third place, but not to worry, he's got another race to have an opportunity to fight with. Dominator still in 7th place currently. Number 77. There's KZ2 Haas in 8th place. He's just about gapped his ITG friend in 9th place there. See all these sponsored liveries, of course, they're all, you know, partners of Power Max Racing, the ones who sponsor this championship, of course. It's good to see all the sponsors, individual ones, are getting the representation on this track at the Nurburgring. And don't forget, Lobby 2, you'll be able to view that on JPH99's channel when the post-race commentary will be available for that. Yeah, absolutely. Martin is certainly capable. Martin's certainly capable of getting some very good results. Although he's not had a podium in this championship, it's going to be one of those points that will come eventually for him. But Heracramp just running around in the lead, taking all the lines that he needs to do, and since the opening lap he's been consistently in the 57s. He runs very wide coming out of the Mercedes arena. He wouldn't want to go that wide again, just in case he incurs the wrath of the stewards in terms of the penalties. Ruddo's dropped further back now. I think he's consigned himself to 2nd place. It's certainly not a bad start to the championship to come home in 2nd place. But see how he gets on a 58 all the way through the race, and you can see the quality between these front two and the rest of the field. You know, Heracramp absolutely fantastic around this circuit. He usually runs a brake bias of -1, which really helps his driving style. And that's another point to make for those that are unaware. These cars all run the exact same setups. There's no setup changes between these cars, so it's all down to driver ability. The only thing that you can change is literally the brake bias. So see how the quality starts to shine through in this championship. Yeah, Jainho saying it exactly. A 57 around here is right there, and that's why Heracramp has been competing in GT championships and events like that. That is how quick he is. But it says a lot about Ruddo that he was able to take Heracramp to the final round of the championship last season. You know, Ruddo, a real world racing driver in the Focus Cup as well. So those two certainly have a lot of racing experience between them in terms of their ability. And I believe that Heracramp got the chance to race around as well in the Full Focus Cup recently. I think he got a track day out following his victory in the NXTGEN Racing Championship. So good for him. And yeah, Herakramp's best circuit this, definitely. After watching his demolition in the Scirocco's a few seasons ago when he won by, it was about 15 seconds. Just shows you how good he is around here. Oh, look at this, side by side, coming through turn 2. Matty Rudd under intense pressure from Bruce Lee Harding. Let's ride on board with the temporarily backed Kappa car for tonight. Look at Bruce Lee trying to find a way through. He's getting a little bit of a bump coming out of turn 4 with a little bit of a wiggle from Matty Rudd. Zerkak driver under pressure now for that final spot on the podium. A quarter of the race remaining. Should be enough for 3 laps, including this one. So 2 more following this lap, certainly. And P. Gibb tracking them at the moment. But Matty Rudd starting to come under pressure. And Bruce Lee would like a podium. He absolutely would love a podium. Last time he had one last season, Brands Hatch, in the second race, reverse grid. And he wants to add another podium to his overall tally, but he's got a bit of work to do because Matty Rudd giving it as best as he can. He looks a little bit of a feint of a look going into turn 10. But you can see the pressure now truly on that Zerkotech car in front of us. Little bit wild from Bruce Lee. That's going to promote an opportunity for P. Gibb as we come towards the NGK chicane for the 8th time. In the slipstream, Matty Rudd looking vulnerable going into the chicane, but Bruce Lee deciding better of it. Takes a tighter line. Just stops P. Gibb from getting any opportunity out of the corner. Yeah, no reverse grid for the race results. So whatever the race results are, the championship order then gets reversed for the race 2. So at present, it would be KZ2 Haas who starts on pole. But at the moment, look at Bruce Lee. He's got the slipstream. He's got to look to the outside at turn 1. But Matty Rudd moves across in the braking zone. Got to be careful of that one. Doesn't want to force another car off the circuit. But still a staunch defence from the Zerkotech driver, the number 28, doing his best. 2 laps to go. The front 2 positions looking relatively settled at this point. Clipping the inside of the curb coming out of turn 4. No penalty for either driver. Obviously, of course, track limits are enforced around here. Penalties are on. Pretty much, yeah, Mick Cheesy. You'd be spot on with that comment. There's P. Gibb in 5th position. Martin just on his own now in 6th. You could see that battle in front of him. He'll be one to keep an eye out next race. He just did a personal best on that last lap. Oh, Gibb just got his line slightly wrong on the brakes. I just caught that as I was watching Martin. That will compromise him. It gives him a nice run coming through the Schumacher S. And the Megans find it tough to go flat out through the Schumacher S. You can take it flat in these cars, but it is difficult to do so. Martin said he'd been struggling with it. Dominator in 7th, Tuscaiva in 8th, and Haas down in 9th place. So we'll cut back to this fight because this is the closest one on circuit. As they come through turn 12, flat out, Bruce as close as he's ever been. Less than a 10th almost. As he comes towards the outside, he brakes a little earlier. Can't force the issue. Clamps over the curb. That's a good run, but he's just sideways out the corner. And that compromised his speed. And Bruce Lee couldn't get his way through. But he's going to be all over the rear spoiler of that Zerkotech car. Matty Rudd is going to have to go to the wall to defend as he goes towards what will be, I think they might just have enough time to get another lap in. So on the brakes, Bruce Lee goes round the outside at turn 1. Will he have the momentum? He doesn't. Matty Rudd's trying to squeeze him as much as he can, but Bruce Lee's got his nose there. He's going to go the inside. A little bit of contact between the 2 drivers, but Bruce Lee goes through. Hard but fair racing between the 2. Matty Rudd can't get up the inside, but Matty Rudd is still in position because Bruce Lee ran deep into the corner. Just about blocks the door. Does Bruce Lee, but does he? He's trying to force the issue. Matty Rudd now on the inside. We're riding on board with P. Gibb, who's got a great position for this. On the inside at turn 5. Matty Rudd on the inside. They're close to one another, but they still don't make much contact. Bruce Lee still holding on. It's absolutely brilliant racing between the 2. Very hard, but very fair. Will P. Gibb look to try and go through the middle of them? Be impressive if he did. He decides better of it. So Matty Rudd on the outside. Little bit of contact between the 2. They're not yielding at all. This is fantastic racing between the 2. Bruce Lee, though, will have the momentum. They can't go too wide. Surely through the Schumacher S. They just about manage it. Now P. Gibbs looking to go to the outside, but Matty Rudd forces him wide. Then Matty Rudd blocks the other side, stops P. Gibb getting that momentum through, but Bruce Lee, after effectively a lap of side-by-side, keeps himself in 3rd position. What a battle. It's still ongoing. As they come now around turn 11, Matty Rudd will be in the slipstream. Will he have enough speed to get on the brakes later than him into the NGK chicane? Look at Gibb, though. He's got a great run. He's going to try and look to the outside. He can't think about that. Look at Matty Rudd. He's going to go to the inside. A little bit of contact with Bruce Lee, but Bruce Lee just holds on. Matty Rudd doing the right thing, just keeps back behind Bruce Lee. Little bit of contact would have been unfair if he took the position. Are they going to cross the line now? Will they have enough time to do one more lap? It's going to be exceptionally close. They do get across the line. Martin JL09, he gets across as well. So Martin's caught up as a result of all of this. I said watch out for him. He's right there. Dominator, though, he's finished 7th. Duskiver will come home in 8th place, and KZ2 Haas will be 9th. But this is now a 4-car battle for a podium position. Martin's right there. He's a second behind, but any issues with the trip one another up, and he will be there. But Bruce Lee, he'd love to start the season off with a podium as Matty Rudd goes sideways coming out of turn 3. Got a nice exit. Mitch Easy getting a lot of comments for Gibbs support. Look at this, Matty Rudd trying to go around the outside of turn 5. They're on the grass. Surely this is going to end in disaster, and it does. But they somehow keep it on circuit, and Matty Rudd gets the position. Bruce Lee, oh, he ducks the other way. This is aggressive defensive driving from the two. They are both fighting tooth and nail on this first race. Matty Rudd up the inside, they slide wide. Up the inside goes P. Gibb. He's looking to get 4th position. They are absolutely fighting over the same piece of tarmac. Where will P. Gibb go? He slots in behind. He knows the sensible thing to do would be that. Martin just waiting in the wings. What can he do? But Matty Rudd with an absolutely aggressive overtake on the grass. It might be looked at by the stewards, but he is back into 3rd place. But there's still an opportunity for him to take the podium. Oh, Bruce Lee is sideways. That's going to give Gibb the chance he needs to get the 4th position that he wants. I want to cut back to Hirakram. Hirakram's going to take the race win, and it's been a brilliant result for him. But we're watching this as we come into the chicane now. On the brakes, Matty Rudd gets the position back. Bruce Lee's all over the gravel. He's almost going to try and make a move, is he, at the final corner? Here comes P. Gibb up the inside, but he doesn't quite get the position. So it's going to be Matty Rudd who takes 3rd. Ruddo, who's already finished, will take 2nd place. But look at that. What a fantastic battle that was. Matty Rudd 3rd, Bruce Lee 4th, and P. Gibb with Martin JL09 5th and 6th respectively. What a fabulous battle that was. Right at the end, that was incredible. But we've got to give props to Hirakram. That was a brilliant race victory. Absolutely superb from NXTGEN Hirakram, rightfully so. That was an awesome battle between the 3 drivers, and Martin was right there at the end as well. Just going to take a little breather myself there. A couple of comments just coming in. Amazing battle from Mitch Easy. Superb from Jainho. That was absolutely superb. I think Matty Rudd's overtake on Bruce when he went on the grass, that very much rubbing racing, but it could be disputed. Let's just say that one. Let's just see what happens in the post-race chat. I've got access to that, so I can have a look at what the drivers are all saying at the moment. Yeah, Matty did take a huge risk. Hirakram just putting a comment on GT Sport saying now for the nuts race. He evidently had a boring time at the front and didn't get the chance to see all of that. Absolutely brilliant race. Absolutely fantastic. Ruddo did the last 6 minutes one-handed. Not sure what he was up to whilst he was driving. Maybe he had a few issues. Whew, what a race. But yeah, so we have a little breather now between race 1 and race 2. Normally what I do is I stop the recording and then start up a new video. But this time around, I'm actually, for this season, I'm just going to keep it as one video so that you get the chance to have a watch of them all. Yeah, post lobby chat, just have a look through. Not any issues as far as I know, so all looking good. Fabulous race though. Ruddo's right hand in a bit of a state. I'm not sure what happened to Ruddo. I'm not sure how he's inflicted that injury. I do recall Ruddo saying that he had a few issues. I'm not sure quite what he did. But yeah, P Gibb just updating the race settings there, so it goes from race. There's a car going backwards. Who is that? Is it here? It is. He's just done a 180. But P Gibb just put in a comment there saying Ruddo needs drug testing for excessive paracetamol intake. It's a bit of a thing going on for that in terms of drug testing within the lobby, from the pre-race chat that was going on, mainly about Hirakram. But we'll see how everybody gets on for the second race, reverse grid race, and that's going to mean that KZ2 Haas takes pole position. It will be first place on the grid for him, so he'll be looking to try and defend from everyone. He had a great fight with Duskiver, who finished in second. Dominator will start third. Martin JL09 will be in fourth place on the grid, so looking to see how he gets on. He's certainly capable of a good race result. P Gibb will line up in fifth. Sixth place will end up going the way of Bruce Lee Harding after Matty Rudd got his first podium since last season in seventh. Ruddo will start in eighth, and Hirakram, the race winner, will start in ninth. But with that being said, with how quick Hirakram is, don't be surprised to see him moving up the order very quickly. Hopefully Ruddo can finish race 2. If he's a little bit slower, be fascinating to see how they get on. I'm just going to take a little bit of a breather. Oh, 1 minute apparently. Well, maybe I've only got 1 minute to have a break. So everyone going out on circuit then. And Bruce Lee deciding to park right on the exit. Yeah, I have done. Actually, I'm going to push my microphone away while I have another drink. So, Matty Rudd doing a little spin, coming out of turn 3. Will be fascinating to see next week, of course, when we run off to Brands Hatch. And hopefully we'll have a number of drivers who are missing tonight back in. Just Skyver shows everyone the reverse grid option for Formula 1 next season, if they need to do any cancellations for the German Grand Prix. As Hirakram Haas just coming out of the pits. There's our pole sitter for race 2. Everyone else just pulled over to the side. Dominator is away at the moment. Now, if I remember rightly, Dominator sometimes takes a little bit of time, but just as I say that, he's now just driving out the pits. It's going to be curious for the cars to see how they get on with this. The first time really that the Lobby 2 drivers have had a chance to fight side by side with the Lobby 1 races, in terms of those that have stepped up from Lobby 2. This will be the first time they've had the real fight in racing conditions, so it's going to be interesting to see the lines that are taken. But here we go for round 2. On the right hand side we have our pole sitter, which is KZ2 Haas and Duskiver on the left, both in blue and white of course. Dominator 3 and Martin JL09 will be on the second row. Let's see how those two get on. We've got 15 minutes on the right hand side. Hopefully this time, here come the numbers. And the race is live for the Nurburgring at round 2. It looks like a relatively good start from the front duo, and Duskiver has got himself along the inside as they come towards turn 1 for the first time. Asking great braking from KZ2 Haas though. He confirms he's got the lead, and he does indeed going into turn 2. Little cone goes flying somewhere from one of the drivers. Bit of lag going on, but Martin JL09's made a good start. He's up to 2nd from 4th place, so that's a fabulous start for the Teng Tools car. Duskiver doing his best to try and keep everyone behind him. Bruce Lee's had a good start as well. He's going side by side with P. Gibb, and he's up to 4th. Coming out of turn 4, there's Matty Rudd right in behind P. Gibb. There's Ruddo. Dominator's gone backwards, so not a great start for him. Look at Martin trying to challenge. Going into turn number 5, KZ2 Haas has picked up a penalty somehow, but Martin looking to try and put himself further forward. Bruce Lee on the back of this queue. There's P. Gibb side by side with Matty Rudd and Ruddo. They're going to try and go 3 wide towards the Dunlop hairpin for the first time. P. Gibb breaks later. A little bit of contact 3 wide round the hairpin. I've never seen this before, but Ruddo gets them both. He's up to 5th. Hirakram struggling to make his way through, but he's on the outside for turn number 8 and 9 through the Schumacher S, and he gets himself past P. Gibb. So he is up into 7th place, making some movements now. Is the championship leader at this present time. We're going to just quickly back out, come back in, get all the camera angles that we need. We're on board with P. Gibb, who's Hirakram and Matty Rudd having a bit of contact through turn number 11, and that's actually compromised Hirakram. A little bit of a clumsy one. Look at that further forward between the fight for the lead. Martin JL09's on the inside. He's got past KZ2 Haas. Look at Duskiver trying to make a way through as well. Haas is doing everything he can, as ace as he can on the brakes, but he's actually ghosted his way through thanks to his penalty, so he gets in front. Now that'll be an interesting one in terms of where he was. Oh, there's a bit of wide braking area. Look at Ruddo. He's absolutely scythed his way through, and he's up to 3rd. He's not going to have the slipstream though. Look at Duskiver trying to make his way back through. Now Hirakram's up to 5th, so great couple of corners for Hirakram, considering he was 8th at one stage. He's trying to go to the inside of everyone. On the brakes, later they go. Hirakram, Ruddo, all up the inside. Haas has made a mistake, so Martin JL09 takes the lead. Haas trying to do his best now to try and hold on to 2nd place. Ruddo trying to turn him where he couldn't, and now he gets through, and Hirakram goes through. So race leaders of race 1, rather, a bit of lag going on for Ruddo. I'm not sure quite where he is on circuit. Haas drops the way down. There's contact between Ruddo and Hirakram. Look at Matty Rudd now trying to make his move up to 2nd place. He gets the position. Ruddo, with lag all over the place, forces Hirakram way out wide. Whoa, Ruddo is all over the place. I think that might be it for his internet connection. I think he might have... Whereabouts is he on circuit? Apparently he's in 3rd. So Ruddo, he dives one up the inside at turn number 7. A little bit of contact between himself and Matty Rudd. Yeah, he did dance off the track, but he's up to 2nd. So despite the chaos that Ruddo's lag caused, he's still in 2nd position. Got himself back past Matty Rudd. And look at Hirakram trying to seek a way past. Bruce Lee's right there too, in 5th. Gibbs kind of got caught up and compromised and all of that. He's down in 7th currently. But Matty Rudd is just a little bit wide out of turn 11. It's allowed the door to open through turn 12 for Hirakram. It's going to be last of the late breakers though, going into the NGK chicane. On the brakes they go. Matty Rudd keeps the position nicely. He didn't panic. And look at Bruce Lee's got a great exit coming out of the chicane. He's going to be on the inside for turn 15. You can go 2 wide through here. Hirakram probably though will get the better exit and the slipstream, which is vital. And sure enough, Hirakram keeps 4th position. Ruddo though has closed that gap right down to Martin JL09. He needs to make this stick if he wants a race win. If they fight too hard, it'll just bring Hirakram right back into the mix. Because at the moment he's being balked very effectively by the purple and white car of Matty Rudd 28. P. Gibbs just moved up to 6th place. Duskiver 7th. There's Haas, and Dominator's a few seconds back, so not sure what happened to him. Martin JL09 leading though for the first time since last season. There's Ruddo in 2nd, and there's a gap back in 3rd place. Gap already coming down to less than a second now. There's Hirakram, Bruce Lee, Don't forget as well, I mentioned before about the blue and white cars of Haas and Skiver. That's going to be the same for Hirakram and Bruce Lee. We'll have to keep an eye out on, because they're both green and white. Although, to be fair to Hirakram, he's got a little bit more yellow. Well, he has only got yellow on it. He's really pushing hard. Is Hirakram trying to find a way through? He's actually left the door open as Matty Rudd, so up the inside at turn 10 they make a little bit of contact as Matty Rudd tries to shut the door, but Hirakram wasn't having any of it. Through he goes. A little bit wide through turn 11 though for the champion, but the problem was Matty Rudd wasn't exactly greater. So look at that battle for the lead. Ruddo's got the inside line, and do you know what? Martin has just lifted off there. He thinks it's better to try and track Ruddo, go with him, try and pull away from the rest of the field, and little flash of the lights from Ruddo there to say thank you, because Hirakram has joined them already and he's brought the rest of that group with them. Bruce has just dropped off the back a little bit as Hirakram now sets a new fastest lap of the race. Look at Hirakram looking for the inside line. Haas has just got into the pit, so an issue for him. On the brakes, Hirakram goes up the inside. Oh, Ruddo's gone very deep at turn 1, but Hirakram takes the lead. Pretty straightforward. Sorry, Hirakram takes second place, I should say, on that front. As we come up to the halfway stage of this race, Matty Rudd hoping for another podium, a bit sideways at the corner. Martin's lost another position. Excuse me. But Martin, he'd be a bit frustrated with that. I'm not certain what's happened to him. Well, he's lost a bit of time. P. Gibb up to 5th. Bruce Lee's cleared his penalty, so I suspect Gibbs just got past him as a result of Bruce slowing down and getting rid of that penalty. Skiver in 7th place, Dominator in 8th, and I suspect Haas has had to pull out in 9th place, sadly for him. So the championship protagonists from last season are sharing the same bit of tarmac, 2 tenths between them. But look at Hirakram already, he's got a fantastic run. Ruddo, he knows he needs to defend, but look at Hirakram trying to go around the outside. Ruddo just forces him off the road. Entitled to the racing line through that corner. And Matty Rudd's joined them. This is a good showing from Matty Rudd. He's really made sure to keep onto the back of these two. He knows that these two are the quickest in the league, and if he can hang on to them, any opportunity he can take, he will be there to pick up the pieces if there's a bit of contact or two. Look at them very close together between the chicane. Yeah, Martin obviously having to lift off. Hirakram trying to take a wider line, but it hasn't quite worked. But he will have the slipstream though, so Ruddo's going to have to think tactically here. Can he defend so early on? Not down the straight. I think actually Hirakram hit the back of Ruddo, and that might have been because of the lag. Here comes Hirakram then on the outside line. Ruddo's going to just try and run him off the side, which he does again. And look at Matty Rudd. This is an opportunity. Hirakram swings back. Probably didn't realise Matty Rudd was so close. Look at Hirakram trying to go around the outside. Matty Rudd trying to force his way through as well. And Jainho just making a good comment there. Can he support his brother with some distraction? Be interesting to see if he can. But Matty Rudd looking for a way through. Up the front 3. Pulled a second gap on Bruce Lee and P. Gibb, who are in their own fight for 4th. Martin's dropped backwards. A couple of mistakes creeped in there. Skiver in 7th. He's not too far away from Martin. The whole field just separated by 10 seconds after the opening 10 minutes. But Ruddo, he'll want to win. Of course, he'll always want to win, but this will be a psychological blow for Hirakram if he can't get through. Because we know that this is Hirakram's favourite track, and he's going to look to the outside again. We know what Ruddo's going to do. He's just going to force him out wide, and he does it successfully. Look at Matty Rudd trying to make a move at the inside. Not quite going to make it stick through turn 11. The dangerous corner sometimes to try and overtake through there because of the different lines. Can have contact. Got Ruddo being closed in again from Hirakram. Ruddo deciding, I'm not going to defend into the NGK chicane. Just blocks his way through, and that is a lesson in defensive driving, to stop a car from getting the acceleration they need. Hirakram swings it out wide, Tries to get a better run out of the final corner. Hello to 1805. He's just said hello. Look at Hirakram. He's got a very good run on Ruddo, who now goes to the inside to defend. Watch it on board with Matty Rudd, and Hirakram breaks so much later, but Ruddo just squeezes him out of room. Another opportunity again for Matty Rudd. He's going to actually keep the line quite tight to Hirakram to stop him from getting through, but it doesn't quite happen. But this is a very good defence from Ruddo, but this is actually bringing the gap down between Bruce Lee Harding and Matty Rudd. Oh, Matty Rudd's hit the wall. That's a chance there, Bruce Lee. And now Hirakram, free of distraction, will be able to go full throttle at the back of Ruddo 24. Matty Rudd hitting the wall. He's actually lost another position, so Bruce Lee up in third. That fight is now for the last step of the podium, but these two, 4 minutes remaining, they're going to give it as best as they can. To the outside line goes NXTGEN Hirakram. Can he brake later on the outside? Down into third gear. Ruddo just keeps the line. And he currently is in position. He just needs to keep himself steady through the Schumacher S to stop Hirakram from getting a run. But that's not quite going to happen. Can Ruddo shut the door in time? He just about does. Ruddo on the inside now at turn 10 on the brakes. Hirakram's going to go around the outside. Can he again? He's going to try it, but Ruddo just shuts the door again. 1805 giving his support for Gibbo. Gibbo, one of the favourites of the Mégane drivers. Still looking for that first race win. It's probably not going to happen tonight, but here comes Hirakram. Now he's got the slipstream. Now he's got the run that he needs. Hirakram just needs to make sure he gets his braking right, but Ruddo will not give in, and he's gone off the circuit. The two leaders have gone off. That's a mistake. Here comes Bruce Lee and Pete Gibb. Where has Ruddo gone? It's actually gone down to 6th. He went flying off the circuit, and the race leader for so long has dropped right behind the pack. Hirakram was lucky, realistically, not to be even further impeded than that, because Bruce Lee wouldn't have taken any prisoners and would have took the position. So the fight for third place now becomes the fight for third. Bruce Lee goes a little bit deeper though. I imagine Hirakram has the pace to stretch his legs away. And sure enough, he's pulling that gap. You can see it corner by corner, 10th by 10th. He should be able to deal with that. Bruce Lee now in second position. Whoa, Matty Rudd. I think they braked as late as they dared, and Hirakram just about made the corner. Ruddo obviously wanted to keep that position because he knew Hirakram would be so quick. Brake later, but that was past the point of no return. He's down in 6th. He's going to have to do something about it in the next 2 minutes. He's got another lap after this one. Martin JL09 just trying to clear his penalty, but that's going to bring Ruddo into 5th. Now that's quite clever from Martin JL09 with a lap and a half to go. Used the momentum from Ruddo to pull himself further forward. Got to say, good showing from Deskyver here. Really good display from the driver who made his promotion from Lobby 2 last season to Lobby 1. It's a really good effort from him. He's got to be careful with cutting corners as well. But he's actually dropped away from Bruce Lee Harding, who might be on for a first podium this season. Ruddo though, he's down in 5th. How far away is he at the moment from Pete Gibb and Matty Rudd? He's going to go side by side. Pete Gibb looking to the outside line at the NGK chicane. No dice there, but Matty Rudd had to get rid of his penalty, and through goes Pete Gibb. And that might have actually just given Pete Gibb his first podium since last season at the Red Bull Ring. 2 podiums for Pete Gibb last season, but look at this fight now for 4th position. Matty Rudd heading that gap. There's Ruddo looking to the inside. Ruddo, you know he's going to try and brake later. On the brakes they are, down into 2nd gear. Ruddo completes the move, nicely done. Didn't give any opportunity to get back through. So Ruddo now has this lap to try and pull 1.7 on Pete Gibb, but that's such a tall order to do. And Pete Gibb, it'll be a popular podium if he can hold on. He's driven well in both races, has to be said. Hirakram though should be signed, sealed and delivered now. He's just done a new fastest lap in the 57s. That's a good improvement as well from the last race for Bruce Lee Harding. He finished 4th, but his lap time of 58.8 only in the 59s last time around, on average, so that's a good lap for him. P. Gibb still in third place. There's Ruddo. Oh, Matty Rudd lost another position now, down to 6th place, and he's going to be at the grips of Duskiver. 1 lap to go. This is the final lap. Oh, the two Meganes in front. Martin just getting a little bit sideways over the gravel through the Schumacher S. Will Matty Rudd look to try and send one up the inside? He will do. Martin, give him the room. Good defensive driving this from Martin. He's still going to be in position for turn 11. All he needs to do is just run him out wide, but Matty's got another penalty, and I think that's going to compromise his race. Just see if there's any other opportunities for the drivers. Doesn't look like it. Martin's just defending now. They've both got penalties, Martin and Matty Rudd. Oh, Duskiver's round. He was squeezed on the grass, and he was looking at 5th because of the penalties, but it's Hirakram who takes another race victory. Well done to Hirakram. Fabulous result. Bruce Lee Hard in 2nd. A great podium for those two, and P. Gibb in 3rd. Ruddo in 4th. What could have been. Martin in 5th place. Matty Rudd takes 5th. Duskiver was so close to getting 5th. He was unlucky. He just got forced wide. Dominator comes home in 8th place, who actually did catch up towards the end. Really good comeback drive from Dominator. Not sure what happened in the opening stages, but a 59.2. Really impressive from Dominator. Quicker than his qualifying time. So you can see already the improvements that the drivers from Lobby 2 are making in Lobby 1. That's really positive improvement for the cars. Haas unfortunately didn't finish. An unknown issue. But Hirakram, 2 wins out of 2, 2 fastest lap points out of 2, and the pole position point as well. Ruddo has left the room. He did finish 4th, just to note that, so everyone is aware. Hirakram 1st, Bruce Lee 2nd, P. Gibb in 3rd, Ruddo in 4th position. P. Gibb just putting a comment there saying, sweat and buckets, well done on your podium. Fabulous result for you. Must be really chuffed with that one. Couple of congratulatory comments just coming in for P. Gibb there. Bruce Lee, he'll be happy with that. A podium in the opening round of the season. He hasn't done that before. That's the first time he's ever done that, so he'll be pleased to get the season off to such a strong start. P. Gibb, that podium there. Martin in 5th place rather than 4th. Don't believe the timing screens there because Ruddo did finish 4th. Martin in 5th. A good showing from him. It could have been better, but a bit of practice needed. Hopefully he can get his Fanatec wheel all tuned in for the season ahead, because he's certainly a driver of good ability. Matty Rudd, he got a podium in the first race. He don't think he can complain too much, but penalties just ruined any chance, realistically. But nothing there for him in the end for the second race other than a 5th place. Duskiver in 7th. Matty Rudd, I should say, in 6th. Yeah, Duskiver in 7th there. Dominator coming home in 8th place, and Hirakram, you can see their fastest lap on the final lap. That's the amount of speed that he had. And you look at the lap times before he got free, he was doing 2-minute 1s, 1:58, 1:57.4. That's how quick Hirakram is. Absolutely superb racing. I'm gonna just wait for the timer to tick down, obviously, because KZ2 House is still in the pit lane, so we will wait for the timer to tick down until it decides that's enough. Yeah, and penalties were very crucial in that race, and they did play a big part in the end, rightfully so, from Jainho in the comments. So there's the official confirmation of the results. 4th place going the way of Ruddo, but 2 races out of 2 for Next Gen. Hirakram, a pole position point, 2 fastest lap points. That is championship form. Maximum points, 45 points taken. 2 wins, obviously 21 points for both wins, so 42 plus fastest lap points and pole position point as well. So that, very positive news for him. But in any case, that has been the first round of Lobby 1 here for the Renault Mégane Trophy, sponsored by Power Max Racing, hosted here with Next Gen. Absolutely brilliant racing from Lobby 1. Next Thursday at the same time from 7:30 onwards, we'll be going to the second race of the season at Brands Hatch. That will be, as always, a fabulous track to watch the cars race around. Always close racing around there. That is much is for certain. What I will say to everyone who's watching, thank you very much for all the views and the comments. If you haven't followed me already, feel free to do so to make sure you don't miss out on any more Mégane Trophy action in Lobby 1 for this season. I will be uploading the videos over, or rather this video, over to YouTube as well, so you can have a look at it on there as well once the video has disappeared in about 2 months' time, which they usually do. But in any case, thank you very much for watching. Wherever you might be in the big wide world, I hope you have a very good time, and I'll see you next week.